cut me loose. Things will not be as of yore, no one to accuse. In a storm, one subsided, get way too calm. Every bruise, every teardrop on the floor, one day blow a fuse. Then the void is near, broken, defeated, would you still keep the faith? Walls of stone, ancient by fear, full asleep in her embrace. Cut me loose. There's so many more to come. Is it time to choose? With a knife in my hand, I still feel disarmed. The weight of truth mutes the words, beats like a drum, makes you want to prove. Then the void is here, broken, defeated, will you still keep the faith? Walls of stone, ancient by fear, full asleep in her embrace.
Hello, how are you? Yeah, I put the Animal Crossing Toy Day music up just because it's more festive. Who's that? Was that you? Rogi's just thundered out to have a drink of water. I am drying off. Yeah, it's wetter at the back. So I'm a bit of a scruff, but I don't know if you've heard, it's extraordinarily windy today. I went out in it to work, and then I had a bath to like defrost myself, and now we're ready to go. Today's Advent drink is winter spiced cranberry Sprite. Smells of cranberry. It tastes cranberry. I'm not getting any spice out of it. But cranberry Sprite, nice enough. Did I not mention myself? Hi, I'll start that again. I'm Burble Montekia, and we are going to attempt to finish Still Joking. I had a peep. Not for spoiler wise, but just I found someone else's playthrough, found the spot where we stopped. We are very close to the end. I'm concerned that maybe when Tony went into hospital, that ended Tony's story. What we'll do, play through to the end. If that did end Tony's story and we can't get those last two achievements with him because we took him out of the narrative, we'll go back to a previous save point. And we'll try again with Tony. We'll make a different decision because I saved a lot of different decisions, didn't I? So we'll see if we can keep him in the story and not get him put away. We got him put away, get him hospitalised. We'll see if we can go back and not get him hospitalised. It might just be that the playthrough that ended abruptly at the point I got to wasn't following a Tony narrative, so that was the end of their Tony story because of the decisions they'd made. We'll find out. We'll jump in. Still Joking. I'm not using the Christmas overlay just because this isn't a Christmas game. This is like a carryover from the end of October, so we'll use this one for now. And in we go. So we are still in the same place we were. I've got there through different methods. In case you missed it, the game fucked up the saves again. So I had to go back to the start of where we were last week. In speeding through it, made some different choices because I don't remember every single choice. But we have got to the same point with Tony, just a slightly different way. So Tony's getting hospitalised again. We'll find out. We'll find out if I can get those 2 achievements. Tony, achievement-wise, we are in the same place we were when we finished. Okay. Are you mad at me? Yes, and Tony and myself. For Iris, it was sensible to ask the strongest companion for help in Kikot. Unfortunately, it was difficult to properly assess how fragile he was. What's going to happen to Tony now? We'll revert him back to his previous state and we'll try to condition him again. And can Apricot help? Didn't he run away? Yes, but... Okay. Maybe the police are looking the wrong way. My apologies. Here's a press release. Right on her table. Like a toy or a bunch of flowers on a tombstone. Michelle said like he wanted to show it to someone. What if the papers aren't the only thing he wanted to show? Rest is here, statuette, books, organiser, papers, business cards. Yet still. Scripts for review usually are. Mechanical keyboard and a mouse here. She would connect them to a laptop when spending a long time on it. Oh, am I working? No dust here even though it's been 2 months. Favourite illustration, Serena keeping things in order. By the way, seems like there's dust here. A thin line along the organiser. Any hired help would have spotted it. Looks like Fenrir forbade the staff from tidying up here, but he dusted the statuette. Can I picture him with a PP duster? Actually, I can. Meh. Dear imagination, you're one freaky thing. Who even uses business cards these days? Liza Mikovic, the pioneer of intuitive painting. Oh, I don't have any comment on this. Must be from some exhibition. Abigail Handley, senior partner at Alexandra Lee. Alexandra Lee, your perfect silhouette, glorious. Damn, what am I doing? I should try and find something useful. I'll go through the rest quickly and move on to the file. So who's next? Hans Mina, head of operations. I don't understand what kind of operations these might be. There's a Swiss flag in the corner and some weird graphic made up of a brain, a red cross and a clock. A conceptualist? Oh, there's text on the other side. I hope you change your mind. The quality of our services is unparalleled and you can count on full confidentiality. I can't speak. Confidentiality. I couldn't speak. I could not put together confidentiality for some reason. Until the end, I remain your most loyal fan, HM. Until the end. Until you're murdered? No way he could have known. Could he? What kind of job involves knowing things like that? And by the way, what's the meaning of the brain and the clock? Maybe the message is about something hypothetical. Until the end of the project, until the end of your visit. I doubt Fenrir would leave anything important in plain sight like this. Ah. No, this isn't working. I should take one string of thoughts at a time. Think about the field of expertise. Head of operations with business cards must be some bigwig, or he likes to have a laugh. However, his handwritten message looks nothing like a joke, not at first sight anyway. Who doesn't indicate their field of expertise on their business card? Someone whose field of expertise you know already. No, it must be something else. Say you know it, but you don't want to have to explain it in case they find out your connection. Very nice coach. Very nice coach. Very niche coach. A doctor. A sect follower. No, the sect comes in later. Although... Right, the card. Firstly, there's nothing explicit in it. Secondly, I fished it out from under a pile of other cards. Thirdly, there is dust. Either Fenrir hasn't gone through her stuff as rigorously as I am right now, or I'm just great at piecing together groundless dead-end theories, and the business card means nothing. It's got a Swiss flag on it, and they had been to Switzerland for a vacation 2 weeks before Serena died, and this, until the end, bothers me so much. Sorry, Fenrir, but I'll take my chances and conclude that you were careless about this little detail, and I'll proceed. Was she like dying of brain cancer and he decided to kill her in a way that would be like she would always be beautiful and iconic instead of hairless and cancer ridden and in pain? I mean, this is like, we just had the assisted dying bill go through Parliament, so it's at the forefront of my imagination. It could be an assisted dying thing. The whole murder could have been assisted dying. Clock is easy, something temporary, not permanent. Too conceptual, hell knows. I guess I could link it to some clockmaker shop. A very secret and mysterious one. By the way, it probably looks like a chemist on the outside, which will explain the red cross. The cross could also be a flag, I suppose, but there's a Swiss flag in the corner already, so it's probably medical after all. Finally, the brain. Human mind, science conferences, research, labs. Now hold on a second. Brain, medicine and time. Brain disorders. That prescription for neuroleptics in her bag, prescribed to treat mental and neurological disorders of various degrees of severity. The order was in Fenrir's name, but in her bag. It's a prescription-only drug. Was she going to pick it up herself? Something was wrong with her. Very wrong. Come on, Iris, think out loud already. She was sick. But wasn't she planning on getting treatment, buying neuroleptics, and turned down the unparalleled quality and confidentiality until the end? What she also turned down is the festival she's been preparing for at least half a year. Looks like it was too late, and Fenrir knew about it. This doesn't make sense. Why murder your terminally ill wife? Serena turned down the treatment. She was to die naturally. Damn, and then there's him behaving like she's still alive. Dusting her table, bringing over the press release about Mantle, pretending he's being blackmailed. Maybe Fenrir's just gone bonkers. I mean, what would she say? I think she'd find the whole thing very odd. Can't think of the right way to put it. Damn. Hold on. What would she say? She was actually alive. As in, she was here with me. Prototypes' health issues and addictions are not passed on to their reflections. By the way, Fenrir has a phobia of mirrors, or phobia. He knows about the world on the other side of the mirror, and he killed Serena to cure her. And the police aren't sure that the murder victim was her. The body was cremated. Someone's body. And this whole story about the lookalike girl that's now missing together with her reflection is about bringing Serena back. How? By killing me in front of the mirror to the other side with the same blade. Oh my. No. Fenrir is in the prototype's world. I am here. If he could somehow travel there and back, he'd tell her long ago. Say he cannot, which means he has an accomplice on this side of the mirror. But who? Wouldn't Roy reflect any of his... Roy. Seems like I've gotten a few questions for him. Only we're not allowed to see each other. Oops. I'll try and sneak up to the truck and take it from there. That wasn't very sneaky. You just walked straight up to him in front of somebody else. Iris, you're not allowed to. Going all in. Roy, I know that your prototype talks to you and that he knows we are here on the other side of the mirror. It would be best if you offered some commentary. Iris, I doubt that Roy appreciates this joke, and I'm absolutely positive that you two must not see each other. Therefore, she is... what? She is not wrong. Are you claiming that the prototype who knows about our world here talks to you? Yes. Phew, fuck, but I am right. Aha, that's what complicated feelings are like. Leo, get Johnny. From behind the truck. On it. Iris, did you want to hear a confirmation from Roy? Yes, and the details. Alright, you can stay. Tell me if you start to feel out of the ordinary. Johnny will be here any minute and then we shall start. I know I should have told you sooner. This is not a moral stand to take. This is your duty. If your prototype's behaviour is no longer predictable, your contract with the expedition must be subject to review in light of all the new aspects. You are suspended until all the circumstances have been investigated. This was a little unplanned. However, Fenrir's motive is now clear. Kind of. Depends on what Roy says. To be honest, there are two other things I'd like to figure out. One, is Fenrir a sorcerer or an illusionist? I mean, he knew that the other Iris would be here with me, and yet the way he's messing around with the police is pretty human. Bribing someone with that inheritance to get hold of the body. Faking CCTV footage. Where's the line between his powers and his manipulations? And two, is Roy on Fenrir's side or his victims? And why didn't Roy say anything? And why didn't he claim just now that I'm lying and no one is talking to him? He easily could. What do I focus on? What's more important? Where do Fenrir's powers end? Roy, you're talking and I'm writing it down. Iris, Johnny, you can ask questions as we go along, but please keep them relevant. Obscenities not permitted? Precisely. I'll pass then, I think. Roy, we are listening. Iris, forgive me, please. There have been only 4 conversations so far. The first one was the night of Serena's murder. I got reflected in an unfamiliar room, grey and empty with no windows. For a while, Fenrir just stood in front of the mirror and did nothing. I mean, he stared into his eyes, or my eyes. And then he said, "Hey there, reflection, I know you're there," and he left. He began talking to Roy only after Serena's murder. Not before, not a month later. Did he plan it in advance? Roy, so is this why you began chasing the scientists and asking them to sever your magical prototype link? Yes, to no avail though. Honestly, I thought I imagined it or something. Quite a possible explanation. If Fenrir wanted to make Roy feel uncomfortable, he has sure succeeded outstandingly. Can you open the door into that room? Yes, whenever. It has bare walls, a door that leads nowhere and a mirror. I have since checked every inch, nothing worthy. I don't have the faintest clue where this place might be in their world. I see. What happened next. Next time it happened in about a week. Same room, same mirror. He talked a lot about Crystal City, the Void, the expeditions and the community, the history of reflections, and then he said something like, "See how much I know," and left again. Was it all bullshit? No. I dug into the archives later. Shortly speaking, he is indeed incredibly well informed. If you want someone to keep thinking of you, keep up the intrigue and explain nothing. But then, this is no guarantee they'll be thinking nice things. But then again, he probably couldn't care less. The first episode can be attributed to your prototype's delirium. The second one cannot be explained in the same way. How can it though? By Roy's own delirium, by an expressed psychotic hallucination, by well thought out actions of an extremely atypical prototype. The list goes on. Roy, have you left your record with the archive? Yes, I've got their reader's card. Takeo, do you think I'm lying? I suppose I should obtain the timeline of your story in as much traceable detail as possible. Go on. Anyway, the third conversation took place there again. He claimed that we knew next to nothing about the link with prototypes as opposed to him, and that he'd tell me something, a secret. Those who die in front of the mirror get to recall their prototype's skills and personality, and Serena is becoming herself. Oh. No, get a grip, Iris. Don't pull the doctor's attention or he might have me suspended for something too. What do you mean, becoming herself? Fenrir said you'd be able to do things you had never done before and remember things you had never known. So that's how the whole flamenco story came about. You said you had information and never said where you got it from. I think I was actually trying to block out where I got the information from. If I ignore it, maybe it will go away. So you decided not to tell anyone a fucking thing, following the prototype's orders and like a moron? Excellent plan. Shut up. Johnny, you will have a chance to talk. The one we never got to use on time. Thanks, I really appreciate it. I'm sorry, please continue with your questions. First, Fenrir beckons with intrigue, then he demonstrates how much he knows all in all, then how much he knows about me. Me as her reflection, to be precise, getting closer and closer to Roy. Now, hold on a second, does he know about the expedition? Or does he assume that the murder has made such an impression on Roy that he'd find me if he wanted to? Or could he actually assume that his knowledge of our world made an impression on Roy? Roy, have you consulted anyone? Or say tried to find out how an attempt to recall the prototype skills may affect those who died in front of the mirror? No, I imagine we all did it sometimes, and Iris could have refused to if... I see, and the last conversation? All the way before Keycott? You remember how I got back in the middle of the night? And then Iris lost control? Yes. I got pulled out of nowhere into the blinding sunlight. It was incredibly hot, and I couldn't even figure out at first where we were. Turns out it was a yacht. We were out in the open sea. Didn't you say you got pulled over very fast and didn't know what he was up to there? I did. Well, the thing is, he grazed his arm with a knife and began drawing with his blood on the mirror. A spooky pentagram? No. Digits, letters, symbols. So many symbols, one over another, based on some inexplicable logic. I tried to memorize their sequence, but who was I kidding? He would embolden these, cross out those, add a few here and there. Must have used like half a pint of blood. The sun was stuck in the sky as if it wasn't moving at all. There were more and more symbols. I started to get dizzy, and then he suddenly hit the mirror with his open palm. He hit it, and I felt like I could move out of my own free will. Like I could pull the aching arm away from the glass, take a breather, even blink regardless of him staring at me. Then his lips moved, yet I said nothing. A couple of moments later, I was pulled back. He said, Serena is what my wife. We love each other. If you help, I'll break your leash. With that, he covered the mirror with a piece of fabric. We love each other, but she was dying, so I killed her to cure her. He's such a... Roy, you should have gotten tested for psychoactive substances right away. It was the best moment, yet it is gone now. Johnny, we're going to the lab. We'll be back soon. Iris, if you need help, let me or someone else know. Do not recreate Roy's pointless behaviour. Iris, I honestly didn't want to. Let's go. Okay. Find out Roy's terrible secret. Oh, apparently I could have had sex with him. Congratulations, starting with the easier topic, I guess. I think Fenrir is more of a sorcerer. Whole story of Roy's prototype is more complicated than I can imagine. Fenrir doesn't shy away from manipulations, but he's very capable. At the end of the day, he sent Serena here and was going to bring her back there, which means he could do that just as well. It's stupid to underestimate him. If I ever get the chance, I should try to defeat him by playing his own game. I will need my own. Ahem. Sorry, I forgot you were here. Nothing. Takeo asked me not to leave you alone, but I have things to do. Promise to behave sensibly. Depends on what you consider sensible. That's not a highly convincing promise. I'm fine. I'm going to think it over and head off to my camp. Alright then, let me fix you a hammock then. It's been a good while since I've had such an eventful day and not even over yet. But at least I finally understand what went down in the dressing room on September the 7th. Fenrir killed the woman he loved to bring her back. He's such a fool. She dragged him from under the water despite him obviously being larger and heavier than her. She agreed to help the police knowing she was dying. She couldn't stand injustice, and Fenrir thought she'd replace me. Replace me without even thinking twice. Devour me. A fool is what I think she'd say as soon as she found out. Fenrir is such a fool. And I would have replied, he loves you. Because yeah. Of course she'd smile and say he's such a fool. But that wouldn't have been a happy smile. On the other hand, it's amazing to finally understand something. On the other hand, I still don't get the whole picture. How was Fenrir going to bring her back? The same way he sent her here, by taking a mirror that reflects everything the other way, taking her reflection, which is me, and killing me? Or I already cannot braid my hair the way she used to, and who knows what else will fade later. But my investigation has been completed. Serena would have been glad. And I think she'd want Fenrir to know the truth. Not think. I know she'd want him to. And I'll make sure he gets to know. No idea how, but I will. A telegram? Fenrir, stop. You are a fool. And one more. By the way, she left. Stop. Guess why? Perfect, huh? Phew. I hope Roy will tell when his prototype gets in touch with him again. For now, though, I've got enough to deal with as it is. How could he have brought her back? Am I in danger now? Do we have some sort of interdimensional telegraph? In theory, at least. Looks like it's time to ask the others some weird questions. Well, where is everyone? Oh, I'm like, why is nothing happening? Do you know what? My drink finished. I'm going to get something else to drink. I will give you pet cam. Be back in a sec. Okay. I have a Christmas in Manhattan cocktail. If anything, it's going to be good for my throat. Did I tell you about my Christmas cocktail saga? Black Friday, they did a discount and free postage. So I thought, I will spoil myself. I'll treat myself to Christmas cocktails. I've used them before. They're like in pouches. They're flat. They're made so they can post them through your letterbox. I got a package of 5 because they do them in 3s or 5s. And I picked the Christmas cocktails. So it's a Christmas treat to myself. Every delivery guy did something during the delivery process and burst one. And the one that burst was a vanilla cocktail. It leaked over everything. So I contacted them, and it's like, if this was a gift, it would be ungivable because all of the packaging for all the intact ones are all sticky and covered in crap now. Fortunately, it was just for my own personal use, so that's not an issue. But this one broke. And I thought they would either give me a refund to the value of that one cocktail, or they'd send me out that one that got damaged. Because I sent them pictures. They sent the entire package of cocktails. So I got another delivery of the same cocktails. They did it on the more expensive next day guaranteed delivery. And every delivery person burst one of them again. It wasn't the same one. Winter's sidecar got burst on that occasion. So I had the vanilla one. I had doubles of the others that I ordered. But they burst the winter sidecar. So I contacted them and it's like, please don't think you have to send me a replacement. I've already got more cocktails than I ordered. And as I said, it's not a present. Don't worry about it. But here's the photos. Please try and get your money back from Every, because they're costing you money. They're not handling your stuff properly. go ahead and make a complaint and see if you can get your delivery cost back from them or something. And they thanked me for being understanding and being friendly. And I got, apart from the 2 bursts, I got double the cocktails that I ordered. So, Christmas cocktails. So that's Christmas in Manhattan or winter in Manhattan. I can't remember what I said it was. But it's basically a Manhattan with Christmas spices in. Hey, Poodle. But that was the saga of my Christmas cocktails. I got 2 lots. And every are an absolute shit show of a delivery company. They used to be Hermes. They used to be called Hermes. And Hermes got such a bad reputation that they changed their name. They are still the terrible courier company. They are the same people, run by the same people, absolutely shit at what they do. But they just changed the name and carried on being shit at what they did. They started to give a new company a shitty reputation. No one's there. And here. I think I'm no longer amused. Go to the bridge. There are always at least a couple of people here. Try the road. Here we go. Looks like we're having a tree-hugging flash mob. No one thought to invite me. How rude. Take out, it's nice to see you as fit as a fiddle. Eric, long time no see. I know. When you heard I was here, you must have thought that the dexterous young man was really confused. That dexterous young man found me in the lab and reiterated 6 times that he was not joking. Would have been a small wonder, only it got you doubting. My story is more entertaining. This elegant lady has spent 15 minutes proving to me that Hansen does not exist, and I am just an amicable poster man. Had me nearly believing it myself. Dora, this really is Eric Hansen. I know him. We spoke briefly a few times. Spoke briefly and argued at length about how to make the community better. Must be 20 years ago or so, unless we're going on 30. Either way, Dora, you're highly convincing. Please accept my unwavering admiration. Thank you, but what are you... I've heard his name before, and I've seen the uniform too. Right, he came to see Takeo after Chloe fell off the bridge. Why are they here? And while we're at it, could I maybe ask a few post-investigation questions? My apologies. I know about your role in founding the community. I've been spared of any detail, unfortunately. Iris. No bother. My name is Eric Hansen, and under normal circumstances I do not exist. However, I'm miraculously here now, and that serious young man is Felix. He keeps following me around for no apparent reason. Iris, I doubt that Mr. Hansen will find it accommodating to tell you his entire life story. He's around 200 years old, and yes, I was convinced he was more of a legend than a real person. Thank you, Dora. It makes me feel reverence for my own self, and the way you pleasantly rounded up my age to an elegant couple of zeros is dashing. I'm glad you're not offended. It's actually 240, isn't it? You're absolutely right, Mr. Takeo. Takeo, Felix, it was really not necessary to announce my age out loud. I'm afraid Dora already thinks of me as a relic, and I would rather not be considered a ruin too. Mr. Hansen, you're in great form. Sounds like an obituary. And strictly speaking, form is not the most important thing, including uniform. Eric, do not take any offence, but what is Felix here for? Security? Absolutely, to protect some Hansen from himself. Wouldn't want him to lapse into dotage, run away from some new expedition and go missing there. What a pickle for the community it will be. Someone's got to keep an eye on this mean old fella. Mr. Hansen. Damn it. How do I swiftly interject with a question? Mr. Takeo, Mr. Hansen, and I, we've come with a mission. Your mission here is clearly about telling Dora how old I am. Listen, Mr. Hansen, we need to talk about the mirror. Felix, I know very well what we need. And forgive my light crankiness, but there are no mirrors here in the proper sense of the word. More a memory of them. Quite enduring, but still. Oh my, what am I even doing? Prattling on about theoretical aspects of reflection specifics like anyone actually asked me. Do forgive me. Those theoretical aspects of reflection specifics may be related to how Fenrir managed to send Serena here, as well as intended to bring her back. We're so asking you. Mr. Hanson, please tell more. Thank you for your tactfulness, Iris. You know, real mirrors are very much like people. Pewter, mercury, silver, nickel, aluminium. Each has a heart of its own. And the more complicated the mirror is, the more it feels like it has a personality. That's really not what I'm trying to ask about. But now that he's... And can you tell me something about this one? Or is it also more like a memory? Yes, however, I can tell you a bit. It seems very girly, coquettish even, yet the frame is highly intricate and the original's composition definitely featured the noble metal. A curious combination. Would you want me to fix it? Yes. Yes, I would so much. We fiddled with reflections of mirrors quite a lot back in the day, thinking how we could go about them. Not too crude. Italian craftsmanship, is it? Now, how did he used to do it? No touching necessary, but one must feel. Whoa, it's whole again, like really whole. Impressive. That was incredible, Mr. Hanson. I never thought this could be possible at all. I'm glad I managed to surprise you. Thank you so much. To be honest, I have tons of questions for you. How do we fix mirrors? I mean, reflections of mirrors. Why did you offer to do it? Can you tell me something else about my mirror? If there was a way to communicate with a prototype's world or even to get to their side, how? Iris! It's all right, Dora. I don't mind answering Iris's questions. One by one will be gratifying to make me feel wise. Sounds enticing, but it'll hardly work out this way. Felix has mentioned a few too many times the mission that has brought them here in the first place. Don't think he'll give up that easily. Can you tell me anything else about my mirror? Anything. I've had questions for so long and only the words of wisdom spoken by me can save you. Something like that. Then tell me this. What was the light like when I was fixing it? Warm. Resemblant of candlelight or the light from a bonfire or the sun? Do I understand correctly that it depends on the mirror? Precisely. I bet you have nothing against warm light, while you are likely to dislike purple-coloured sparks of flame. Could there be purple sparks? Or a green glow? Or crimson flashes? I've heard of pink halos too, but never had the luck to see one myself. I haven't really thought about preferring one particular type of light to flicker over the others. I'm sorry, Iris. Ooh. You're the reason Chen goes for a new hairstyle. And more! Chen, that dexterous young man has found you too. Excellent. How are you? Care to share any of your latest studies with me? Hello, Eric. It's great to see you with the expedition. Sob, now they'll just get to talking about their stuff. I'll have to wait until I can make another interjection. I'd rather shoo everyone away and lock up with just Mr. Hanson for a couple of days. Yeah, I'd better behave. Pardon me, but how do you know each other exactly? Checo, if you and Mr. Hanson last saw each other 20 years ago, it means you couldn't have introduced them. But then how? Dora, don't. In a way, it was still me who introduced them, my arm specifically. Are you saying Chen sought help with its blueprints? What now? Only Eric had enough resources and enthusiasm to create a personalised prosthetic arm in a world that the standard is to copy from the prototypes. Objection. Eric may have helped somewhat, but all the laurels for enthusiasm must go to Chen. Speaking of the prosthetic arm, I only got to see a few baseline pieces back then, so if you don't mind, I'd love to see the finalised design. Or is it designs? Iris, let's step aside. Check out, knowing Chen's dedication, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a whole range of arms, one for the watercolour painting, another for healing, and another for flicking through the latest research. A curious thought, but one arm is sufficient for now. Admittedly, I do not paint. find out something unexpected about Takeo. And it's the very first achievement. You can't possibly find that out earlier in the whole playthrough. So it's weird that they all come in order and then suddenly they're not coming in order. No way. So that's what Dora was talking about. Jacob had been a famous surgeon before. As a result, it cost him his career because it cost him his arm. Oh, very interesting, and also flexible too. Oh, and is this the waterproofing solution? Yes. And can it really? Iris, stop staring. It's good that Mr. Hanson helped you out. Now go and find the others. Take them away from here, at least back to the camp. Why? I'm afraid that Mr. Hanson and Felix are here because of Keycott. Mr. Hanson asked Leo to bring over Johnny too. So it has nothing to do with Keycott. Clumsy lie, Ma. You're worried another argument will break out? Didn't Felix say he had to talk about the mirror? Johnny was there in Keycott, yes, but mirrors had nothing to do with that situation. Felix had already been to visit Takeo 3 times, no less, and now he's here with Mr. Hanson. You should all stay away. It's only me, though. And as a matter of fact, Mr. Hanson promised to answer all of my questions, and I intend to help him keep that promise. Iris, if we pique their interest, I'll drop everything and flee to hide the others. For now, I'm staying. Alright, just be... Leo told me that very Eric Hansen was here and that was needed urgently. What is it? Oh, and hello everyone, I guess. For some reason, I imagined you going around with a small private squad at your side. Please refrain from sharing this sensible idea with the community. They have already issued me one, Felix. Hello, Johnny. Mr. Hanson, now that they're all finally here, you can announce the purpose of our visit. All, which means they don't need anyone else. Felix, do me a favour. Start assuming that I'm capable of thinking myself. Got it. The community wants something from us. The world's crashing down, yeah? Or we've qualified for some unique giveaway and are about to get 6 brand new buses. No implication here. The world is not crashing down, yet there is no reason to assume that bus giveaways are due. However, I may be able to arrange something regarding the latter. Let's take a walk. Eric, I don't mean to offend, but everyone knows that you're here anyway, and it's important for them to know why. Yes, it will be a bit uncomely for us to let our people down. Let alone my team, will find a way to eavesdrop anyway. I hope. As you please. I thought it would be best for you to hear from me. Sorry, Takeo. Seems like Andrew was right, about some of it at least. Andrew, the one that did experiments on recreating the primary mirror. The one to blame for people's deaths. So what is he right about? Impossible. I ran the numbers myself. So did Chen. Yes, multiple times. The whole experiment was a mistake from the very beginning. Mistake? That arsehole basically put everyone on the line. Listen, the roll patrol discovered a fragment of the blasted island. It has been stabilised and you ought to see it. There is now melted metal, blood and a backwards mirror. What does it look like? Around 15 by 10 inches of glass just hovering in the air. In terms of standard properties, it is similar to the shards you worked with back then. The image is a little more defined, but, to put it shortly, seems like some of the shards did fuse together after all. With restored primary mirror, one can hypothetically reflect in the other direction. There's your interaction with the prototype's world that Fenrir needs. Talk about great timing. You need someone to confirm the finds. Yes, me. The community needs you to try identifying the place. For example, Johnny carried out the wounded and set up safety traps. This means that he may remember the original state of the land and... Let's not waste each other's time here. I'm only on your list as a formality. You really only need these two. The only epicenter survivor and the dude who was on the site of the blast right after. Fuck. And what if they refuse to go? Will you be cutting off our supplies or something? I hope it never comes to that, but yes, restricting the supplies. Fucking hell. Alrighty then, so it has come to that. Let's draw up a contract that we shall stick to starting from the next expedition. If you don't have the full picture regarding our current sustenance, we'll copy all the papers for you. I respect your stand. Eric, I will come with you, but just me. Don't do that, please. I will figure it out. Just like then, yeah, lousy plan, Chaco. If Andrew was right, it changes everything. Changes bloody nothing. He'll still be your friend who killed them all, nearly killed us, all for a frigging piece of glass. The meaning of that experiment for science is priceless, I get it. Eric, will you accept if I go alone? No. Johnny can stay if he doesn't want to go, but you two are a must. Sorry. I see. Chen, you are stressing. Let me give you a sedative. Once it works, we will go. No, don't worry. Let's go as it is. We'll just take a very quick look, right, Chen? Want to jump on my shoulders, maybe, for a change? I promise I won't drop you. Johnny, are you coming too? I will look for a keepsake, bits of stone from the tower, and keep bugging you too. Regarding, by the way, shame you were happily unconscious throughout most of the damn investigation. If you weren't, you get a chance to explain how your powers being right was any justification for all the hell that followed. Well, you know, answering the same damn questions over and over again until Chen's bandages started to bleed through. It was the only fucking thing that could briefly drive away the fellows who must have made it through their lifetime goal to prove just how innocent your precious Andrew had been. Chen, forgive me. Sorry, it wasn't... Oh, it wasn't all so bad. Gorgeous red stains on the shoulder, blood slowly seeping through the bandages. Absolutely brilliant, nothing to complain about. From later in the second week, I was actually using a liquid dye. The anaesthesiologist was sympathetic towards me. You're lying. Well, Dora is clearly unimpressed. What is it? This is just unhealthy. When I first joined the expeditions, they would sometimes behave like this whole person as opposed to 3 individuals, and I thought they outgrew this stage. They should have. And there you go, just look at them. Codependence in its truest sense. Poor Chen. Judgment in its truest sense, or jealousy? No, I'm not finishing this thought. I see. Eric, how long will the examination take? Hardly more than 10 minutes. Another thing, each of you will have to complete a report strictly according to the new protocol. Felix will fill you all in. Will the community manage to put up with us not getting right down to those reports on the go? The way you say it really is tempting me to say no. But yes, should be fine. Mr. Hanson, but Felix, there is no good reason for you being unable to consult them here. We'll come back with them, so papers aren't going to go anywhere. Mr. Hanson, with all due respect, this is my 4th visit and they still haven't accommodated the community's demands. Why would the community, for a change, end of discussion? So much for great timing. Turns out they found the mirror, was it 1 month ago, 1.5? But actually it fits into Fenrir's schedule quite well. Eric, we are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an advantage this time, and it's pretty hefty. No towers, and you can act silly for a bit too. Keeping the emotions stable. Still feel like asking questions? To put it mildly, yeah. Honestly, I'm partly jealous of your ability to still feel curious in this grim atmosphere. Actually, my curiosity has to do with a different kind of grim atmosphere, but I suppose it's best not to go into detail. How about it, Dora? Do you think we'll be off the hook? What hook? This whole thing. All is fine, we go back to our work and also add Mr. Hanson to the expedition as a consultant or something. He knows so many stories. Dora, please tell us, is the expedition going to be fine? Looks like it's time to rescue Dora. For some reason, they think she can see into the future. Depends on whether or not they've told us the whole truth. What do you mean? If they need Chen, Taker and Johnny to have a look at a piece of land to put together some reports afterwards, then great. They're in progress already. However, if they need anything on top of... Well, why wouldn't they just say it right away? Because if they did, none of the guys would agree to see the land in the first place. Seems plausible, Iris. But what if maybe no one's going to ask for anything on top of that? Yes, I hope so too. How was it? Yes, this is it. Not the community. No, the community won't let us off so easily. They want to repeat the experiment and hoping that we will be there to consult them. Did I sound sarcastic enough when I said are hoping? Mr. Hanson, don't you think this is unethical? Sadly, science and ethics don't always go hand in hand. Dora, if we can recreate the primary mirror, our world will change drastically. From an ethical point of view, Andrew's experiment is terrible. Scientifically, it can lead to a breakthrough. However, I don't think that your friends are obliged to participate. Mr. Hanson, the community stand was clear. The community stand is obviously different, but I can still help minimise the implied damage in case you refuse. Damage? Budget cuts? Yes, and at the same time, more control. Do you mean the compulsory stops en route? We'll have to access some new friends, the likes of those back in Keycott. By the way, if you happen to refuse at all, I'll be happy to personally incur the entire lot of the consequences. Just saying. Johnny, it would be best if specifically Chen and I go over the numbers. She did the I can't speak today, research, and then studied the data extensively afterwards. Her expertise is invaluable. I hope my help is not the only one she can count on. All I'm thinking is, yeah, but Tony. What about Tony? We found out about her murder now. We found out what that was about. The mystery solved. Tony, please. What's this shit? Tony. Give me Tony. As if I really have a choice. Chen, you're the smartest of us three, so we humbly accept any decision of yours. We will accept humbly, won't we? Oh, Remy cough cough. Remy cough cough. Was there a bone in your water, Remy? He's listening to me. I have no doubt that Chen's decision will be the right one. How about we deal with our reports first and not keep Eric and Felix waiting? Of course. How about the other way round? We keep them. Don't you want to have Eric Hansen stay with us forever and ever? Forever? Again? I'm sorry, Johnny. I'm not sure I'll last that long. Unlucky me. All right, report it is. Felix, what was that new protocol you mentioned? Well, here's my chance to bust onto the scene and save everyone. Probably. Have to check something first, though. Mr. Hanson, once upon a time you were going to answer my questions one by one. And judging by the implication, I outsmarted you to get out of it. Bullseye. I've still got it. And what questions were those exactly? If there was a way to communicate with a prototype's world or even get to their side, how would one do that? I'm afraid you'll find my answer boring. And not too far off the previous topic of discussion. Via the primary mirror? In theory, there are multiple ways, including a few truly fascinating ones. Unfortunately, the only one solution is potentially plausible now. Moreover, we still cannot state with certainty that the primary mirror must be functionally identical to the prototype's mirrors. Picture this, we recreate one and it turns out that it leads into the world of second-order reflections. In which case, I'll spend the rest of my life wondering whether their world has existed before any of our experiments, or is it all our doing? Mr. Hanson, the way you put it makes it sound like recreating the primary mirror is just some sort of routine task for the community. Is it not? Of course not. To a certain point, this is the Holy Grail, which we here, as opposed to the prototypes there, can actually find or create. So whatever got fused together there, can it be considered the primary mirror or a part of it? I'm more inclined to say it is something precursory or subsequent. It does produce a reflection, but a very murky and inconsistent one. Either Fenrir's plan failed, or he's going to use something else, something more primary. Now back to saving the day. Scientifically repeating the experiment might be the right thing to do. However, involving Chen, Taker and Johnny isn't the most humane thing. Not humane in the slightest. As well as penalising them for their refusal. I suspect Fenrir will have to eventually tell Roy where that primary mirror or some other magical artifact is. The one nobody knows about. Let's assume that is indeed the primary mirror there. I could offer an ultimatum, the primary mirror or the help of these three. Felix will totally faint. I don't have my hands on the primary mirror just yet, but if I cheat just a little, well, a lot actually, then it could just work out. The downside is the community will be sure to keep a close eye on me after this, especially if it does work out. I'll make history as the woman who found the primary mirror, autographs, constant attention, the same questions over and over and again. Just like back at the distribution centre. I'll manage after all, I've got the expertise, but to be honest, it would be nice to live a regular life for a change. Any regular life, if there even is such a thing. Another idea, I could just stay quiet and ask Mr. Hanson a few questions. I might have to share something with him in exchange, but that'll be him only. Chen, Chaco and Johnny aren't going to benefit from this in any way, but then it'll be Roy making history, not me. At least he'll ace looking sternly and coming across as credibly threatening in the process. Although we'll probably just be as put off by this turn of events. Okay. I'd like to defend Chen, Chaco and Johnny, but also ask some questions. I want to ask questions. May I take you somewhat away from Felix? Shame we won't get too far, but let's try this. Purely hypothetical, let's say, when someone is murdered in front of the mirror and possibly with some specific conditions being met, the reflection receives a certain something from their prototype. Memories, habits, fragments of conscience, and the further along, the more of these appear to manifest themselves. This way you get two different personalities inside one body, and one starts displacing the other. My oh my, I'm listening. Now you also have the primary mirror somewhere out there. If you would want to send the prototype's personality back to their world, how would you go about it? The simplest way would be to reenact all those specific conditions, including death, in front of the primary mirror. That said, by this point, the original's prototype personality would have to completely displace the reflection's personality, since there is no way of telling how two personalities in one may be sent over. Moreover, the primary mirror must be functionally identical to the standard mirror, excluding the direction of communication. But Iris, let's fine-tune our goal. Do we want to send the prototype's personality back, or do we want to kill the reflection in the process too? Our conversation is currently based on a number of assumed premises, so I'll allow myself to add one more. Should we consider both people? Isn't there a way to help them both, to stop the displacement, say creating an additional body or some sort of receptacle? I don't know. You need to think it over, am I right? Yes, thank you. Did Fenrir consider preserving both and couldn't find a way, or did he consider nothing of the sort? Phew, my head's spinning. And yes, looks like I'm was running the risk of dying in front of the mirror. Again. Damn. Ask how one might go about creating an additional body. Do I get to ask all these questions, or do I just get two? You said creating an additional body. How exactly? I have to warn you, we don't have much data here, but one can dream. We will need the tenets and another important premise. Which one? That we can place personalities into mirror, non-identical receptacles within one world. Mirror non-identical, you mean other bodies? Precisely. In that case, all we need to figure out is the specifics of separating the personalities, which may be doable. He found a look-alike. so he could put her consciousness in the lookalike's body. That's what that is. It's not about possessing Iris to become Serena and then dragging Iris into the real world. It's about taking Iris's consciousness and putting it into the lookalike's body. I think. We need to figure out all the specifics of separating the personalities, which may be doable. And what if it cannot work that way? Then things get more complicated. Why though? They look into the primary mirror, an identical body appears on the other side. Because the specifics of separation are now inherently linked to the conditions of placing the personality into another body, including death in front of the mirror to begin with. Turns out all we can do is send both personalities to the other side, killing them prior to. Oh my. Even if we forget about the humanist angle for a minute, this is wasteful. Although it also invites further consideration of experiments with putting people into self-induced coma. Also inhumane, but could work. If I were one of those two you're describing, I'd start by gathering more information. After all, there is a risk that a new body acquires a brand new personality right after said body is created. And now we have 3 personalities and a complete dead end. Damn it. No need to be upset this early on, Iris. Chances are our assumptions are all wrong. Aha. And even if they're all right, she has left anyway. Ask about Fenrir's possible course of action without mentioning him. What will Fenrir do if he realises that his plan didn't work? What can he even do from there? And what if someone commits suicide in front of the mirror? Oh! Merritt! Hello, lovely. Let's shout at Merritt. Let's give myself a break from reading.
Look. Where do I hide?
Merritt's scared. Hello, lovely. It's just Merritt going, oh. Oh, I'm coming to the end of my visual novel that I've been playing for over a month. Trying to get together with the troubled, like shaggy-haired, skinny boy. I accidentally got him hospitalised. He's not in the game now. He's not in the story at the moment. Dun dun dun. He's not in the story at the moment. We found out why she was murdered. We're all in this plot, and all I'm thinking is, but can we go and get him out of hospital? Can we go back to that? Can we go back to that, please? I want my skinny, shaggy head, mentally troubled person. But I hope you're having a... Is it Sinterklaas yet? Or is Sinterklaas coming? I meant to ask you this. Or I meant to ask one of my Dutch Twitch friends this. Is it like Hanukkah where the date changes year to year? Or is it always a set date? I'm going to Dutch quiz you. It's always December the 5th. Okay. Oh my goodness. Just one. I had my one that's just behind my gold cap taken out. And as it was being taken out, it pinged my gold cap out. But I've got both of them on one side missing and both of them on the other side are still there. So half of me is much cleverer than the other half. You're not. I hope you're not feeling any pain, because when you have one out, you have like that weird thing where you're not allowed to use a straw anymore, isn't it? Because they gave me these big red painkillers But it never actually hurt, so I never took any of them. But I know some people get a lot of pain. But when I had, during lockdown, I had a big cyst that kept inflating my jaw and then bursting and then inflating and bursting. So I had to have the tooth above it removed. And that just left me a big sort of hole, and I couldn't have a straw for ages either. But it's all closed now. Let's have a gum and teeth discussion. I don't know if you can see. Ah, there you go. Missing. My missing tooth. Yeah. Yeah, they gave me these massive red pain. I remember after my wisdom teeth extraction, they gave me massive red painkillers, and I just never even needed to open the bottle. But I've seen other people who have had their wisdom teeth out and they've been in a lot of pain. So I don't know if I just had a really good dental surgeon, so they did such a good job it didn't cause me pain, or if I'm just hard as nails. Me and you, Merritt, we're hard as nails. Yeah, mine, they did the thing where they break the tooth in half and they take half out and then they take the other half out, rather than they grab hold of it and pull. Because when they did this one, that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought they were going to break it in half and take the two pieces out. And he just went, okay, bonk. It's like, oh, that was quick. Although it being a front one probably meant it's easier to pull in one, whereas like the angle to get to the very, very back is probably really difficult. If anyone's got a dental squicks, they're freaking out at this stream. I don't know if you can see anybody. Everybody. Oh no, I was gonna say everybody's hiding. Remy's in the corner, but he's facing away from us. He's facing the kitchen. He thinks he can see something. Ah, X-rays. Yeah, the guinea pig's cage is all Christmased. Oh, Pootle's at the doorway. Pootle's at the doorway of his little gingerbread house. He says, hello, Merritt. I hope you don't feel sore. And poor Remy's broken teeth. They've been healing nicely. Mr. Remy broke his front teeth. Being blind, I think he ran into something, broke his front teeth. And now I'm cutting his vegetables into little matchsticks and hand feeding him so he can eat them properly. But I think they've grown back enough that he can do it. But because he spent a couple of weeks being hand fed, he's now like, feed me, person. He's like a Roman emperor wanting me to peel his grapes for him. Place the food onto my tongue. Yeah, you got... Oh, Remy's having a drink of water now. They've got their lovely festive cage. I've got to clean it tomorrow. So they have a different festive fleecy blanket to put down. But I've got to clean your stockings. My neighbour made them little stockings that they can sleep in. Wow, that's super quick. Very efficient. But back to my original question. I hope you had a lovely Sinterklaas. Even though you had procedures on it. But I hope you had a lovely rest of your day. We got diverted away from our big denouement thing happening. What if someone commits suicide in front of the mirror? This is a reflection of a murder victim. The story of the game is, when we're not in front of a mirror, our reflections are having this soap opera drama elsewhere. And this person was murdered in front of a mirror. So the person she reflects is dead now, and she's trying to solve their murder. We found out that the person she was reflecting was terminally ill. Her husband has somehow found out about the reflection universe, so he murdered her in front of the mirror so that he can then drag her reflection into the real world and have his wife back. But the reflections aren't the same people, they're their own people. So that's where we are at the moment. She's like, how do we stop this man trying to kill me to get the soul of the spirit of his wife back? Oh, so it's like a second little pre-Christmas treat. That's cool though, because it extends over the whole month. Then you get a whole month of Christmassy things. Okay, we're clicking on. Depends on those specific conditions again. If dying by someone else's hand, one of them, and what do you think? I think that if I were a send and replace mechanism, I would find it hard to account for this condition, and not just because I'm old. You're confusing me. I try. Alright, let's assume I get a grip on things and do it. I put together a fat pile of instructions laying out all the key concepts and suitable angles for a blow or a gunshot. I figure out what to do with those who at the time are facing their back to the mirror, or say are not reflected fully, just the legs for example. Maybe I even add recommended intervals during the day. And all this for what? To taunt and tease the scientists that will be studying me later. And what a mean thing I must be. No, you do it all so that suicide cases do not make it to this side. Actually no, you're a mechanism, so for you death is defined by its mere fact and not the way it occurs. So that the magic actually works. And how does the magic work? It starts with weird inner conversations with your own self, then it's the dreams, then the flashbacks. Wait a minute. And those whose prototypes commit suicide in front of the mirror also have the curse, or as Takeo puts it in scientific terms, the physical experience of living through death. Of course. Damn it. I could have tricked you. How? By likening death in front of the mirror curse to magic that enables the sending and placement. So don't believe even me. I have my own misapprehensions. Well, ask about the difference between fixing the primary mirror and your own mirror. When fixing my mirror, you said that essentially there were no mirrors in our world. The main thing is always getting presents. Even the guinea pigs are going to get presents. You're going to get presents, aren't you, Remy? The primary mirror, it should produce reflections. How would you go about fixing it? And what was the essence of the experiment that Chen, Chaco and Johnny took part in? First of all, I would try very hard to avoid breaking the primary mirror, or at least study it in as much depth as possible before breaking it, since there are expressly more ways to fix it than one. When Andrew Nui's team began their work with the shards, they only knew one thing: fusing it back by force would not work. Unsurprisingly, it later turned out we were wrong. So it does work, yes, but only in an unstable environment. That is why we relocated our efforts from the Crystal City lab to an island in the middle of the void. The underlying idea was to destabilize the space around the shards to attempt to fuse them back at the same time. Our simulations demonstrated a high risk of, how do I put it simply, a high risk for everything and everyone around. Woo! Oh no, nothing of the sort, not like that. Only the shards were at risk. No simulations have been run for what Andrew then did. They had worked with much smaller volumes of data. And so, was the community scared of losing the shards? It took a really long time to collect them, so even a hypothetical loss of each one alone was, to put it lightly, unwelcome. Turns out if there was a Felix following Andrew around and double checking his every There was no need for that. Andrew coordinated and confirmed even the tiniest steps, justifying his decisions to use more shards in his experiments here or a bit more force there. He kept failing, and then, well, you know what happened then. His final calculations that proved to be fatal in all possible senses. Let's just say none of the survivors were capable of credibly reproducing them. Chen helped immensely, but her access level was not enough. Hold on, did he use all the shards he could at the time? Yes, and all the members of his team, including practitioners who were off duty, and he succeeded, as was confirmed today, at the cost of their lives and his own. Yes, have I answered your question? Aha! Mr. Hanson, I've come up with a theory of an endless string of yous. How intriguing, do tell. Say you look into the primary mirror. A reflection appears on the other side that is now the prototype. I mean, it's the prototype's world on the other side, after all. Then the prototype looks in a mirror and another reflection appears. It's not going to pull you to reflect because you were there before. You are a prototype yourself. Which makes him third order Eric Hansen. Then he creates a fourth order Eric Hansen. Give it time and we'll conquer the entire world. Astonishing. I'll dump all my paperwork on Hansen 21 and finally get to live a full life. I'm glad you're enjoying the idea, but is this how it's going to be? I'm afraid not. 2 versions of me are where it'll end. You see, your hypothesis is based on a false premise. You come from the idea that a first order Eric Hansen is equal to a second order Eric Hansen. Real experience confirms the opposite. Oh, I'm wondering what's going on. Are you biting on your little cardboard tube? You're doing it very noisily, Pootle. Look, I've lived for over 100 years without a prototype. I have not aged a day. I know it's hard to believe, but that's a fact. Besides, I'm incredibly healthy and full of energy. Eric Hansen 0 grew old, got sick, and could hardly move at 70 years of age. Moreover, he had children, grandchildren even. I don't know if the second order Eric Hansen will be able to have children. My guess here is no, not at least while I'm alive. I will simply have him on a leash of sorts. He will reflect and not age. Can you imagine this? A reflection in the prototype's world. You're eating out with your friends and halfway through the main course you just poof and disappear. Back in my day this would have been deemed extremely impolite. I suppose he will also not age. Or will I begin aging? Hope not. Anyway, he won't make a prototype. Because there can only be one prototype. You know, like in Highlander. Although you're probably too young to have seen it. I have seen it, but to me the image is more of a Sith one. The teacher and the apprentice. Then one kills the other, and so on. Either way, it's a shame. I kind of like the idea of multiple yous. Alas, Iris, I am an old and egocentric man. You seem to know or have known those who can fix mirrors. Where are they? Why do you ask? The reason is, if I understand correctly, they could help with the primary mirror or the experiments, perhaps even more than Chen. I would have to broker each agreement separately, beg each of them, and under no circumstances mention that their involvement is not exclusive and there are others too. Yeah, I'd risk it. The burden of old age, Iris, too many gone. You've heard about Andrew Numi and 2 more perished during expeditions, and everyone had the gift of a lovely disposition, depend on what one might see as a gift. Incredible, look at them, and it's as if history has come full circle. Urgent. We've found a few vessels, crate of those to be precise, and are thinking of looking into it more closely, later tonight of course, if you give the green light. Any bubbles? No, it seems red, ruby red. Well, who am I to forbid anyone from taking a closer look at something ruby red? After all, protocol is protocol. Yay, gotta love the protocol. In that case, we will prepare everything. Tell the scientists. Will do. Eric Hansen and the Mirror Pundits, the pilot episode. Did you use to hide any alcohol from the community you had yourself founded? We simply disliked writing reports. We did appreciate a good euphemism, however. My oh my, if only he were here with us now, I would have found this primary mirror ages ago, while you wouldn't have had to ask all those questions. You know, there are people who just don't accept the limitations of human ability. Only death could stop him. And it did, eventually. Although, of course, not in a million years can I imagine my friend smiling this wide. It had always been my prerogative, and he never wear a Hawaiian shirt. Or a beard. Honestly, looks-wise, they have literally nothing in common. My condolences. Oh, Iris, do forgive me, I got carried away. He's long gone, and I've long made peace with. Anyway, is there anything I can help you with? I've got one last question left. Have you ever heard of prototypes that know about the existence of our world? Know about it? No. Make up stories about it? Certainly. You surely know the story of Alice. Wait a minute. If a prototype tells his reflection specific details about the community, Crystal City, the Void, and milestone dates from our history, what is it all about? Hallucination? Damn. Alright, one more time. And what if it isn't? Iris, are you being serious right now? In a way, but also hypothetical. Alright, remaining solely on the hypothetical plane, can you explain it to me in more detail? Yes, but I've no idea what may help, if anything. His name is Fenrir Dahlberg, and he's got lots of money and yachts, as well as the dead wife, and he also talks to his reflection, even showed him how he could break the leash. And how would that work? He drew various symbols on the mirror with blood, then he hit his palm on the glass, and it turned out his reflection could move on its own. Iris, assuming that's exactly what happened there with blood and a spectacular hand motions, it was nothing but a trick. Excuse me? He was distracting the viewer from something important. Maybe he looked away at some critical moment or closed his eyes. Roy said that Fenrir was looking straight at him. No, I don't think he turned his head anywhere. They were on a yacht. The sun was shining brightly. Ah, the sun. Damn. The reflection had a pair of sunglasses when he returned. They were hanging out of his pocket. Our imaginary prototype is one sneaky thing, although the whole point of his act is evading me. Does he enjoy tricking his reflection that much? I think he wanted to show he could do more than he actually could. So he is a prototype, he knows a lot about our world, and he has powers we do not possess, kinda like a god. Excuse me, what did you say his name was? Fenrir Dahlberg. Right, now it seems that I'm getting fixated. And what does he look like? Caucasian complexion, tall, broad-shouldered, thick light brown hair, eyes of grey and blue, a straight nose, and a very well-groomed beard. Why the beard? After all, I'm making all this up. But how handy. Mr. Hanson, I don't quite understand the question. He probably grew a beard, which is why he now has it. Isn't that what men do? And anyway, what does it matter what he looks like? I'm just trying to confirm that I am wrong. Okay. I hope my scream for help will work. Mr. Hanson absolutely has to have a look at Roy right now. Anyone? I hope they won't be long. Keep up the spirit, young man. Thank you. I hope you consider joining the expedition, Mr. Hanson. Joining the expedition? I still get invited to join the most interesting endeavours. They still think this old man has just about got it. Iris, there is something I must tell you. A long, long time ago... Oh, music's changing. Things are happening, music's changing. A long, long time ago, even before the community came to be, I had a friend. His name was Ragnar. Ragnar Farstad. Is that Sirius one you mentioned when we were matching the practitioners? Watching the practitioners. You listen and actually hear and remember all of the old man's tales. Iris, you are music to my ears, and yes, this is him. Anyway, he used to find me a little careless, and I found him way too serious, but we both wanted to figure out how our world functioned. May I interject to confirm, did he look like Roy? He used to shave and had another haircut as well as dress differently, but essentially, yes. There is a theory that every person has a few almost identical natural lookalikes somewhere out there. I would love to stick to that theory, but the whole talking to mirrors thing and the name you mentioned leave me no choice. Ragnar always loved the myth of Ragnarok. It's getting Norwegian on us. He couldn't stand the mere thought that reflections were forced to repeat after their prototypes, staying bound to them, being secondary. Before the doors were invented here, you know, if the prototype moved places in their world, you would lose touch, unfortunately. It got better with time and we began to form groups. However, in Ragnar's eyes, we were secondary and everything we did was no more than half measures. Did he long to be capable of doing more? Yes, of becoming the wolf that devours the old world, becoming the prototype. A boyhood dream, you know, the pure maximalism of the youth. Who would have thought? So he did succeed. According to the police records, Fenrir first reflected right after he had met his future wife, which would take us back 26 years at most. That'd be just wrong. For real, however, he must have been 5 or 6 years ago. Where has he been all this time? 147 years since he disappeared? That's a good question. Chances of a mirrorless space in the prototype's world where you can make lots of money and not draw anyone's attention to yourself, remaining unchanged over the years, are infinitesimal. All the words I'm fucking up pronouncing, and I managed to say infinitesimal perfectly. Story of my life. Which means he kept going back and forth between our worlds and prototypes. I'm afraid your friend is at least the 6th reflection of my old friend. I don't understand though, where did the rest go? Are you saying that he kept going there and back, displacing their personalities? Displacement implies those personalities had somewhere to go. So he murdered them. Damn. So he was counting on her to do the exact same thing. I've heard about reflections resembling him a couple of times, but I've never looked into it. I thought I was simply avoiding any admission of guilt. What are you guilty of? We had a fight. He left and I was later informed of his death. I mean of him going missing. They discovered a new land and stabilisation went out in the segment that Ragnar was studying. They sent me his things afterwards. It was quite a regular occurrence back then. We were just getting the hang of work and we made mistakes. I kept thinking, if only I'd said something differently, if only I'd listened. You know, he wasn't even going to go there in the first place. Ragnar is stubborn, endlessly stubborn even, but he'd listen to me. Turns out he actually escaped somewhere rather than died. I suppose it was a planned escape actually. Many used to perish in the void. It is easy to stage and there is no evidence to retrieve. He must have opened the door and then brought down the stabilisation around him. I'm still reeling. He got his way and never came to rub my nose in it. If anyone were to describe this situation to me hypothetically, I would have my money on him coming to boast. I'm sure he would bet on that himself. And yet he never came. So odd. For another thing, this god picked the fanciest suit to drown himself, but Serena pulled him out. Why drown yourself? Mr. Hansen, do you know of any of Ragnar's weak spots? What touches him, what he's afraid of, what is important to him? It was important for him to be the first and the best. Now that he has succeeded with all the time that's passed, I don't know. Fear-wise, I don't think he is capable of being afraid at all. And touches, it's also not exactly the right word here. He is impressed by the qualities of courage, perceptiveness, outspokenness. He doesn't like people that are unable to reason logically. He's also one of those very rare types that do not condone flattery. Iris, my information goes back 147 years. Pardon my curiosity, but why are you concerned with it at all? Remember that hypothetical question about personalities? Most definitely. He wants to take my prototype's personality and back to their side of the mirror, but when she realised what was going on, she left, and Ragnar doesn't know. My, oh my. Please elaborate. Oh my. Iris, I would hate to scare you, but you're in danger. Regardless of what you do next, Ragnar won't stop. I think he's simply incapable. Fucking hell. I suppose everyone should know. Damn, they absolutely should. I'll start with Dora and she'll take it from here. Seems like everything should be revolving around Fenrir now. And yet it isn't. Iris, forgive me, please. I should have told you about Fenrir sooner. Are you mad at me? Take a wild guess. We weren't allowed to see each other and I couldn't see how I would just write about something this insane. And today it came out that Serena had been with you from the very murder and left not that long ago. So now you know too. Everyone knows. So odd. In my case, my prototype has been talking to me since around the murder too, and there are no relatable results. Don't you think these two situations are somewhat similar? As in, Iris, you shouldn't be mad at me. More like, Iris, I understand why you're mad at me, and I'm a little mad myself. Whoa. Our friendship is quite a peculiar one. I guess we can try talking more. As in, speak words with our mouths. Dora attempted to prove a similar point with Maximilian. All the grown-ups do it. That kind of thing. I say we keep it strictly business from now on, because I don't want romance with Roy. I want romance with Tony. I think it hasn't worked out already. Talking and the rest. Essential conditions are missing, such as trust, or the lack of blades upon introduction. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend you, but I don't want to not offend you either. Let me know if your prototype contacts you wanting anything explicit, okay? As you say. Iris, it's 5:33 in the morning. Get up. This is urgent. Fenrir wants Roy to kill you in front of the primary mirror. Obviously, he's not doing that, so you've got roughly 11 and a half hours to hide or do otherwise. And what happens next? It's unclear. His prototype said, do it or don't. I'm not sure what the alternative to your death is, but I doubt it's agreeable. Practitioners can string together an untraceable series of doors for you to walk through and hide, but as far as I know, you're not going to use them. You do know me well indeed. Mr. Hansen said that Ragnar wouldn't stop. I don't want to keep hiding or running all my life, or second guessing every other minute of Roy, still Roy, or quite not so much. Do I understand correctly that you know where the primary mirror is? Yes, Fenrir has told Roy. Let's say hypothetically that I'd like to tell Fenrir something. Any insights I should take into account? The mirror doesn't work in the same way as the regular ones. You will be heard on the other side, and you will be able to hear Fenrir. Most likely you'll see him too. Oh fuck. Iris language. It's just a shame it cannot be a monologue. Do you really want to talk to him? Not in the slightest, but I'll talk to him, and alone. I need him to stay focused on me. Iris promised me that you'll use the doors that if the conversation doesn't go well. I wonder if I can tell whether or not it went well. Of course, Ma. Alright, want some coffee? I want some sleep, and to wake up at a reasonable time. May I? I'm almost jealous. Of my ability to keep calm and go to bed? Of your stable nervous system, yes. You sleep, then I'll let you know in the morning if there's any more news. So can I get Tony from the hospital and bring Tony back into the story? I just want Tony back. I just want Tony back. They may have redone the dressing room by now, so its reflection got untethered and is just floating somewhere in the void. I know I'll never again find myself here. In front of the mirror where it all began. I am where I cannot be, with things that have never been here, and I need to prepare to meet a prototype that isn't exactly your average man. Everything is impossible and possible at the same time. So I believe we'll manage. Mr. Hansen said that Fenrir wouldn't stop trying to bring her back. Not kill me, bring her back. All I need to do is explain to me that one will not enable the other. And if he believes me, he has to believe me. Talking to him will be nothing like talking to Michelle or Suze. Firstly, because I've only got one thing to discuss, the other Iris being gone. Your reflection has braids and you don't. And you haven't been able to braid your hair like she did. Okay. Secondly, I don't exactly have any observations or any means to obtain them. Thirdly, any mistake, well, the stakes are immeasurably higher, and so is the risk. The only way to get through this is to break out from the role he has written into his script for me, just like she broke out from hers. And I have to get what I want from talking to the murderer. And what do I want exactly? To investigate and figure out Fenrir's motives and character, understand how he came to be his current self, and what he actually is right now. I think there is no point trying to defeat him by playing his own game. Trying to understand, like really understand, doesn't seem to be his style. Therefore, he's not expecting others to be able to operate this way. Well, I can, hopefully. Another thing I want is to get revenge. Hurt him as much as he has hurt us. Well, and the last option. Not only telling him the other Iris is gone, but telling her entire story, our entire story. Come out in the open to the man who caused all this pain, open up to him in all my vulnerability, and try tapping into his own vulnerability. This is what she would have done. Don't know if I can though. I suppose I should consider each option thoroughly, or not. After all, this is my dream. I can do what I want. Consider each option thoroughly. I've got certain strengths, so I'll rely on them. What are my strengths, by the way? For starters, sarcasm. Sarcasm never changes. Now what else? Somehow managed to secure a future for myself and to intervene successfully in the blast story. And as a result of my actions in Keycott, no one died there. Who's awesome and able to think a few moves ahead? That's me. Alright, one last thing. There are feelings, emotions and desires in the world, and I should take into account that everyone experiences these, even Fenrir. Especially Fenrir. It's funny that we're in the same boat, him and I. All we have is Serena, well, as far as I know. During the expedition, I haven't got close enough with anyone, close enough to tell them about her. Guess I need more time. Anyway, I'm not really ready to come from my own or anyone else's emotions. Not sure if I understand either well enough to do that. 2 out of 3, not bad, Iris. Oh, this thought had Dora's annotations to it. We don't have mirrors in the proper sense of the word. But I'm dreaming. And there was this one girl who could have become my reflection. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Complete the investigation. Explain to Fenrir that Serena's gone. And then talk about him. Figure out what he's like and how he's come to that. Take revenge, tell him she's gone and make him feel guilty. Generally, I want revenge in any shape or form. And what do I do best? Talk about her, tell him the entire story, how she was here from the beginning till the end. Tell him about her choosing not to come back or take revenge. Can detach myself, it'd be easier. There's also a risk I miss something out. Now I've decided already, no emotions for the time being. Joke about anything really, especially myself, but I don't want to joke about this. I want revenge. Revenge and sarcasm. Fenrir and I are in a very serious relationship. Shame he doesn't know about it though. I might throw myself at the mirror screaming, Fenrir, at long last, I've been meaning to tell you what an arse you are, as he'll oblige and drop unconscious. And hopefully hit his head on the way down, and thus I shall have my vengeance. What if he doesn't hit his head? Damn. So will I have to behave reasonably, not say any mean things right away, but first lure him into a trap? Aha. Which trap is that, by the way? A deadly one. Iris, you're not helping. I'll hardly be able to kill him through the mirror, but I should be able to hurt him all right. That said, I must get the message across that he mustn't hurt me back. Serena wouldn't want him to. First, I'll have to lay out the cheese, bait that is, anything that may catch his attention and stir up guilt. Then I'll have to give him time to take the bait and then snatch. Damn, what if he doesn't buy any of it? What if he decides that I've got nothing delicious to offer? In that case, revenge won't happen, while another attempt at murdering me sure will. I'll have to make sure he gets hooked. By the way, he probably doesn't even allow for the fact there might be a trap, and neither does he take me for an opponent. He was merely planning on killing me twice. Don't I just love disappointing people? Afterthought, his shrewdness really drives me mad, but it also makes him predictable, which I suppose can be used against him. The shrewd Irish traps the shrewd Fenrir. Hee. Are you saying no? Talk about her. Miss her, and I think he misses her too. I have things to tell him. Hard to detach myself when I'm thinking about her, but I can try. I'm almost certain that Fenrir understood Serena pretty well, if only he got to thinking about what she might be doing here. Therefore, my goal is to make him think. I'll need to tell him about our friendship, mine and hers. I'll have to tell him. Fenrir, who doesn't even take me for a person. Come on, Iris, think. Only one we have in common is Serena. He will definitely listen to what I have to say about her. In general, I will start by informing him of the consequences of his actions. He sent Serena here, but couldn't control what would happen to her from then onwards. I will sort of hand him back control through my story, which is why I won't accuse him of anything. I don't need him on the defensive. Moreover, I need him to open up to me. Obviously, it's not going to happen all at once, but gradually if I'm consistent. At some point, he won't be able to just ignore my words. And that will give me an advantage. Best case scenario, a winning advantage. Regarding advantages, he will definitely not care about the wonders of my expert analysis. Not right away, at least. I'll have to start with pure facts or emotions. The man has started with emotions. No, Iris, keep it together. So that's lost. He must have patched up the most prominent logical holes in his defense, or has he? I know multiple random facts about him. My goal is to put them together to complete the picture. For one thing, he won't stop. It's as if he's chasing after something he cannot get. His first venture through the mirror, his status in the prototype's world, his killing of reflections, it's some sort of loop or chain. For another thing, there is symbolism. And symbolism here is not just bloody working. So he takes on the name of Fenrir and then tries to drown himself. That's an odd way of bringing about Ragnarok. And then there is Serena. What did she see in him? Surely not money, and not his six-pack, and not what? Looks like I need about 1 million answers. Unfortunately, I cannot get them directly, but making them up or guessing, I've considered all my options. There isn't a right or wrong one. The important thing is what hits the closest to home and what I want most. Time to choose. Exact revenge. So revenge it is. I have already made that decision. By the way, I've got an idea for the end of the conversation. Fenrir couldn't care less that he hurt me, but the thought that he had hurt her, if presented right, can be unbearable to him. and I want it to be unbearable, so I should try sticking to that. Phew. So, time to wake up, I suppose. Right below us, the way down has been cleared and there's a bridge, so hold on to the steps and mind the echo, it's quite loud. Is there any light in the cave at all? Yes, plenty of natural light. The practitioners have removed brushes and branches and roots even. Watch out for the puddles at the entrance, might be slippery, so again hold on to the steps just in case. Proceed. Yes, ma'am. Iris, remember, you'll see and hear Fenrir, and the same goes for him with you. Another thing, his reflection will not appear on our side, nor will a proper reflection of you be created on his side. The principle is the same as with our reflecting surfaces. Aha, I got this. If you change your mind or if he gets aggressive, come right back. Practitioners have strung together that series of doors for you to escape through. What do you mean by gets aggressive? As in throws himself against the mirror? Growls? What if it's too thrilling a sight? Stop clowning around, you know what I mean. Sadly so. The others wanted to wish you good luck and I've let them come here. Tony's not here! I want Tony! Okay, and why do they all look like these will be our last goodbyes ever? Iris, don't see them like that and they'll come across just fine. Don't even think negative, you can do this. I'll come back once you're done with everyone else. Iris, give this more on the talk of his lifetime. I know you can. And if you kind of figure out how to make it through the mirror and give him a good beating, I'll shout out. I'll just shout out. What if I don't figure it out? In that case, we'll do it together later. You go, girl. Thanks. Iris, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. You can do this. For some reason, I wasn't expecting you to be here, because I should have gotten in touch with Ragnar by now and scolded him. I would have hardly resulted in anything but a spark of moral satisfaction. Would have been fun to witness though. Absolutely, I'll summon you when I've plucked up enough courage. In fact, I wanted to give you a bit of an insight into Ragnar. Back in the day, he used to be a rather decent poker player. Are you saying I should not trust what I'm seeing? Yes, a lack of reaction doesn't mean he doesn't care. An expressed reaction doesn't mean he actually cares. However, none of it necessarily works the other way around, I'm afraid. Damn, so how do I make out what's going on? Trust your gut. You've learned more about him over the past 2 months than I had in the last 100 years. I'm sure you'll manage. Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Iris, I don't really know what to say, and it's not like I can help much in this situation, but I really want you to succeed. Thank you. Iris, I'm really worried about you. Nothing I can do about it. You can keep worrying then. Well, does it help you at all? Makes me feel I'm not alone in all the worrying. You are a crafty talker. I don't think he's ready for that. Best of luck and keep calm. Iris, have you been informed of the mirror's working principle? Sort of. Fenrir and I will see and hear each other. Neither mine nor his additional proper reflection will appear. Good. I wanted to warn you, we suppose that, should your conversation be successful, Fenrir is unlikely to act at once. He'll probably start by pretending to be Roy. Because he's a man of strategy and this is the easiest way to get to me? Exactly. Therefore, regardless of your assessment of today's conversation, I recommend that you avoid staying alone with Roy, especially if the link with his prototype gets severed with no witnesses around at the time. Surely we may not find out whether or not Roy is unlinked from the prototype. Indeed, we cannot tell right away, but there are plenty of signs, cracks, no typical pools to reflect, and food and sleep becoming vitally important. These are merely the basics. If you succeed, perhaps Fenrir will agree to talk to the scientists. His knowledge is potentially invaluable to us. What an outstanding prospect! Either way, I suppose you'll be glad if Roy stops being a threat to you. And one more thing, you will have to act under considerable stress and with extremely little certainty. Do what you consider the right thing to do. It will be enough no matter what the final outcome is. Thank you, Doctor. Iris, you know that proper reflection of you won't be created, don't you? Taco has just asked me the same thing. Sorry, wanted to make sure you do. Remember the legend of the primary mirror. Where you're going with this? You know, yesterday I saw the result of the experiment, but today I saw a real mirror. I've got mixed feelings about it. Oh, how we wanted for the mirror to become one with all the shards fused together, for it to become something real. And here it is, and it really is so very beautiful. Still a symbol of hope. Hope that we can be heard and that we are not alone. While we're not alone, it's none other than Fenrir on the other side. But on this side, there's you. Iris, I'm not sure if this is my place to say, but I wouldn't vote for any other negotiator from our side. And you, for once, won't have to be pulling us apart when we can't see eye to eye for a change. Thank you, Jen. God, can we just have Tony? Iris will tidy up inside the cave so there isn't any dirt or even dust left. The series of doors is also complete and expecting potential visitors. With this, I shall be dismissed and I'm leaving you in charge. Are you going far? Joining the rest of the worried crowd, I'll tell them stories of your hair flipping beautifully in the wind. Your raven black hair. You're overdoing it. They know the colour of my hair. Alrighty then, I'll stick to the first part only. When you're back, don't be surprised if they all look at you with utter reverence. Iris, I'd like to wish you good luck. Thank you. We cannot seem to get a dialogue flowing naturally. And not just a dialogue. Yeah. So are you ready? I could say yes or no or I don't know, and any of them will be totally true. The first time we met back at the distribution centre, I realised right then and there that you were no easy deal, and I liked it. You're not joking. Oh, you're joking all the time, but... Actually, there is no but. You're joking all the time, and you're always moving forward. I don't quite get the point in the former. I mean, it must be your defence mechanism, which may have been different anyway. Where was I? I think you were trying to both praise and offend me at once. Not offend, no. I'm trying to say, very well done. You've come a long way from that girl in her blood-stained dress who kept pretending that she was afraid of nothing, that she didn't feel lost, to the girl that really knows what she's doing. That, or you just think highly of me. My evaluation is absolutely objective. And I know you can do this. Well, I guess it's time. I don't get Tony. Somewhere along the lines I made a decision that means I think Tony can be here. They just completely left him out of the story. That's shit. Let me complain about this. Where's Tony? There. I got all of these achievements with him. I don't get to kiss him, and I don't get to take him with me for the most important stage of the investigation. I got all of these achievements with him, and it counts for nothing. Grumble, grumble. This one time, a prototype and his reflection walk into a bar, and the bartender goes, "Good morning, Ragnar," the usual. Funny. I promised her I wouldn't stop joking. No questions, like why am I alone? What else did I promise her? And how did I even realise who that was inside my head? You clearly have something to tell me. I'm listening. Phew. Do I go for what I planned in my dream, or can I still change my mind now? But I'd hardly be that well prepared, so I will have to improvise a lot. Talk about her. I want to tell you about her. After our death, I went through the door and found myself at the distribution centre. If you've never seen one, it's basically a facility where they tell you how to live without a prototype and what your life can be. I first saw her at the introduction lecture. Electro was boring everyone out of their minds, and I was considering escaping altogether when she suggested that we stay. Wanted to figure out what was coming up. He asked me a question himself, so I'll elaborate. Wish I knew what may work best for him, focusing on her, analysing the events calmly, or my very own impressions. But then my idea from the dream is that he'll hardly care about my expert analysis right away. After all, we haven't yet talked for a mere 10 minutes. I didn't feel anything odd. I was certain that she was my inner voice. Everyone talks to themselves every so often, and I also visualised this other Iris, which is a little extra, but why not? Seemed more believable to me than the door that happened to know my prototype was dead. No questions, damn it. Guess I'll just keep talking until he leaves. We had a fight, the one and only ever, in about 2 weeks' time. There was a force majeure incident with every single second counting, and she began telling me what to do. I wanted to act differently, but she was very persistent. In the end, I had to cave in and do as she saw fit. Well, he's smiling. Hurry up and tell more, Iris. She didn't normally tell people what to do and how. Why did she intervene then? She was too worried about me. She just worried about me too much. Might be the reason we began to separate from each other. Are you saying that the incident acted as a trigger? He seems to allow for this possibility. That time Serena simply couldn't hold back. Overall, though, she believed she had no right to make decisions for me, no matter how worried she might be, and she apologised later. The story only gets darker and darker from here. We did have a lot of fun times, too, and a lot of what? Gotcha, he's hooked, although I merely couldn't find the right words at once. How do I put it? Sincerity, tenderness, warmth? That feeling when you wake up and for some reason it feels like it's going to be a good day, like it's a good day already, like spring. But you mentioned it got darker. Well, first he understands and now he's keeping me in check to hear more. He's hooked, yay! It got darker starting from the flashback, or the suit that your reflection was wearing. I didn't realise right away just how much everything changed. And then I couldn't respond, and somebody responded for me, using my very own vocal cords. Full loss of control? I was merely an observer inside my own body and I was alone. But then Serena dragged me somewhere deep into the subconscious, into this surreal white nothingness. I think that's when your plan started falling apart. She also found herself alone somewhere, couldn't see me or hear me, couldn't sense my thoughts, but tried to act. It felt like she could make a difference in what was happening. I think that's when your plan started falling apart. She tried to bring me back, not force me out, not silence me, but bring me back. Although she could have probably stayed on her own forever. She wouldn't have even had to do anything. She never told me, although it's not obvious how it felt for her, but damn, could I really cease to exist then? I say strong, you can do this. I know exactly when she understood it all. There was this moment when my inner voice disappeared and I couldn't get through to her, no response. And when I saw her again, she'd already made up her mind. She told me she couldn't stay because she was gradually becoming me, replacing me. And it felt so natural. She didn't ask me if maybe I didn't mind sharing a body with her or if maybe I didn't want to let her go. She just stated her decision. This is easy to believe. Seems like I could try asking a question now, may even get an answer. Could she have stayed? Not replace me, but stayed by my side? No, hypothetically there's a chance of personalities merging, however the permanent coexistence of two in one body is not possible. Damn. I'd like to show her all of my investigation findings, and I hoped it would be possible. Turns out, and damn, I think I said damn out loud. Thankfully Fenrir was polite enough to ignore it. I promised her to figure out why you had murdered her, and now I have. She was terminally ill and you saw no other way of saving her and bringing her back to familiar life. Yes. Thank you for the talk. think I can hear the waves. And the air is so salty. As if it was all on pause, but now... I'd love to tell you what the others have been up to, but I can't. Something happened. Fenrir had forced Roy out of his body and we were too late to realise it. Don't know how long I've been here, don't know where this here is. The kidnapper won't talk and only keeps torturing me. He doesn't believe that Serena is gone and he's trying to pull her out of my subconscious. I hope someone eventually finds me. Tony, you really give me that much story with Tony? Then you write him out and it... Seriously? 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 Right. Right. Can I not get him sent to the nut house? Go back to camp. Okay. Anonymous source from London police claims some inmates is alive. Everywhere, not just tabloids. Glorious. Okay, I've had this before. Oh, this is them offering us. Oh God, not this again. I can't speed through it. Happy to give our recommendations. Congratulations. To have a choice now, you have to put in more effort before. At least you won't be jobless or homeless this way. Is this what I'm going to have to live with, you know? Who at his place or mine just as well, or see how it goes? Just remember, by the way, how Michelle offered me to work for the police, so there are in fact even more options. Accept recommendations. Right, we can speed. Maximilian. Speed. Oh, not this again. God. Oh my God. Right. Right, so this time we've let Leo win. Everybody's won the mushroom thing now. Okay, what's that? Right, Max is fine. And this one. Okay. Do a different selection there. I can't believe that's how it ended. That ended so abruptly. Can I not keep Tony in the game? Emotional roller coaster. Dora, can Iris and I go for a little walk? Okay, what's this? Okay, so that's just that. Takeo. Okay, that's fine. Isn't anyone going to ask me? Don't you want to go for a walk? I do, but I also want to be asked about it. It's almost lights out, so I don't think that. Please, we won't be long. Alright, Iris, the responsibility is all yours. Don't do anything stupid. Tony, is everything alright? You don't normally take me out for evening walks. Yes. Close your eyes. Oh my god, is this happening again? So I don't get a say in this. I don't get a say in this. How do we stop this happening? How do we stop him getting hospitalized? No. Oh, crap. I don't know how you get around that. I don't know how you get a different ending. I don't know how you get those missing Tony achievements. That's a real bummer. My entire gameplay has been to get all the Tony achievements. To get an ending with Tony. And it writes Tony out of the game. And then you go back to make a different decision. And you don't get an option to make a different decision. I would have to go back. Maybe I have to go back and not make him do the storm. Oh God, that's so far back. Maybe in the new year we'll try and do it. Maybe in the new year when I'm not wound up about that ending. Maybe in the new year we will try and get those last 2 Tony achievements. I'm done for now because that entire last 2 hours of gameplay just writes him out. He doesn't even come in the end and talk to you. Everybody, people who mean nothing to me, say goodbye or good luck. And Tony's not even there. Tony, I will find a way. I will get you back. Okay,